worst thing about this Navy life, to me, it's the distance. And this is why I say it's the distance. Let me share a story with you guys. All right, when I first joined the Navy, I was married. I was happily married. Head over heels for my wife and all this stuff. We had all these corny ass Facebook posts, yada yada yada. I mean, and she was kind of crazy, low key for real. But we was crazy in love, so to speak. And I did my first duty station, and I worked long hours. I work all the time. You know what I mean? So I work all the time, and we just had a kid, so it was tough for us. You know what I mean? So as the time progressed, me being at that first duty station and stuff, I'm hating her, she hating me. We in the house with a new kid. Things are new. We away from family and stuff like that. Like we were spreading apart, spreading apart just every day. Like I'm on one side of the house, she's on the other side of the house, right? And I talked about how we was living and stuff, or the things we was dealing with in one of my pay videos, right? So anyway, we was growing apart, to tell the truth, right? And that distance was just seeping in every day, man, every day. And so finally, it was time to get new orders, new orders. And I'm in Washington, D.C. I'm working out of Navy History Command in D.C., which was a pretty good duty, man, for real. If you guys ever get the chance to go to D.C., D.C. is not bad. But anyway, I got orders and I'm going to Japan now. And my spouse at the time, I'm like, hey, I got orders. I'm going to Japan. I want you guys to come with me. I mean, well, honestly, it was like, all right, so a little bit of disclaimer. We was having some issues and stuff like that because, like I said, the worst thing about Navy life is the distance, right? So I'm there, but I'm not there because the work for me and how I am, I try to be a professional, and we was undermanned and stuff like that. So I was putting my all in work. I was being immersed with work. And this is the thing for you guys. Don't be so immersed in work that you forget about the family, right? Tony, you know what? I'm real good on making mistakes. I make mistakes. I make mistakes better than anybody. If you think you can make better mistakes than me, I'm telling you can. I'm the best at mistake making. So listen to me when I'm telling you, when I'm saying this stuff, right? So I immersed myself in work, you know what I mean? And we started to grow distant. We had a new kid, and I'm gonna tell you the truth, man. She was being a real bit. She was on some bullshit. I remember we had one situation, man. And this is my fault too. This is my fault. I'll take this as a man. She was making like the same meal every damn day. It was like every day. I'm like, all right. The first time I come home, the meal is cool. I'm like, all right, thank you. I'm so happy to have this meal. Second time I come home, same meal. I'm like, all right, thank you. I'm so happy to have this meal. Third time, I'm like, oh man, this again. Okay. Fourth time, I'm like, damn, man. I mean, shit, man. I'll take Chef Boyardee right now. Fourth time, it's like a Thursday now. I'm getting the same damn food. I'm like, hey, have you ever heard of recipes before? I mean, I said something stupid like that. And now she's like, oh, well, you ain't getting nothing. And I'm like, damn, man. So I messed that one up. You know what I'm saying? So I messed that up. Right. And that kind of spiraled into a whole bunch of other stuff. So now every time we at home and stuff, we fighting over nothing, just fighting over dumb shit all the time. Right. And coupled that with the fact that I was always working long hours and stuff. Now, she hating me, I'm hating her and stuff. And then, eventually we was like, well, maybe it's better that you just move out of the house. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we did, so then we officially separated at that point. All right, let me see. Let's see. So we officially separated. And so now, I'm living apart. I'm living in a house like a big dummy by myself. My wife and my kid, they move in. They move back to New York. So I'm in this big house by myself looking stupid because, I wanted different food. I wanted different food selections. I ain't gonna hold you. It was some like regular meal, to tell the truth. But, I was like, damn, I'm tired of it. And, we had that distance and stuff like that. So now I get orders. And I said, hey, all right, I got orders to Japan. You coming with me, right? Oh, no, I want to be with my family. And I'm like, I hear you, but I want to be with my family too. And I got it because, it felt like I was in the Navy and they weren't in the Navy, because in my chain of command, they was on some real old school type stuff. Like, hey, the Navy ain't coming to your sea. I mean, your family ain't coming to your sea back. The Navy has changed since then. So so she was like, well, you in the Navy. You know what I'm saying? You in the Navy, not me. Like, you in the Navy. They don't really care about me. They care about you. You the commodity. We just the family that's along for the ride. And I understood that. Right. So I thought to myself, you know what? All right, so I'm gonna rock out. I'm gonna go to Okinawa, Japan. You stay here with the family. I got my family, right? My brothers, my sisters, everybody. My mom, my dad. They're gonna take care of you if you need. Being that we got the kids now, right? And then your family is there, so that's 100% support from everybody. So we'll be all right. Here's the stupid thing about that, though. Doing that though, like, I didn't have the foresight that I have now, right? Just being away from your family, being away from your woman or whatever the case may be. And yeah, we were separated at that time, but that was still my woman. We were separated, but it was like, ain't nobody like, yeah, we separated because, I'm probably messing up or you messing up, but better nobody better not talk to you about nothing. You know what I'm saying? So, like, going into Japan and stuff like that, I still had somebody, but like, we're separated, and I always had to understand that, I'm gonna get my stuff together. She gonna get her stuff together, and we gonna be good, right? Now I'm talking about the absolute worst thing about Navy life, that distance, right? So as I went to Japan, we increasing that distance. What is it? 3,000? It's a lot of miles away from where I'm at in New York, right? So that distance, or where's she at in New York, right? That distance. Okay, so now we getting to the point where I'm getting in my career. Like I said, I like to immerse myself in my career, because I've always had this chip on my shoulder of this concept that if I'm not, I don't know, I got the thing on me. I'm a real transparent person. A lot of times I'm in the Navy and stuff like that, I feel like I don't belong. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people in the Navy, man, they come from like, what do you call it? They come from like families where, everybody was in the damn Navy, and they eat, sleep, breathe Navy and all this stuff. Me, my family wasn't in the Navy. I didn't have a whole bunch of family in the military. A lot of my family grew up in church, preaching, singing, doing all this stuff. Ain't nobody really ever grew up in the military. My dad, other than that, not a whole bunch of people. I got family members now. My brother's in the Navy. I got a cousin in the Navy. He's trying to get out now. I don't know what that's about. I got another cousin in there. But other than that, we ain't really have a whole bunch of people. Anyway, so I'm immersing myself in it, trying to prove that I belong and stuff like that, right? And along the way, like, that started to enhance the distance and stuff, because I was so immersed in work. And another thing, I was immersed in that work and stuff because I was trying to make rank. You know what I'm saying? Because I was only an E4 at that time. When I first joined, I made it my business like, yo, all right, rank equal money, right? That's another thing. This is a good point that you need to know about being in the Navy, right? Or any military. Rank always equal money. If you don't understand that, you're gonna have a hard time making money. All right, rank equal money. So I said, okay, what do I got to do to make rank? Okay, I got to stand out. What I got to do to stand out? I got to take initiative. I got to take on more duties. I got to be an asset to the command and stuff like that. Roger that. Cool. So now, taking on more stuff. I'm getting immersed in work, and I'm doing all these things. But you know how it is when you allocate time towards something. If you allocate time towards, let's say, playing the guitar every day, right? Let's say you do 10 hours of guitar playing. You're going to have like 10 hours to guitar playing. You got a few hours of sleep, a few hours for this. The more time you allocate towards stuff, the more something is not going to get that time. For me, it was my relationship and my family and stuff like that. So that sucked for me. You dig? So, so the more I immerse myself in the work, less conversations we had about, maybe trying to work it out and stuff like that. Because remember, I said we were separated, so less conversations we had about working out, intimacy, things like that. So finally, we get to the point where it's just like almost unbearable. I'm here, you there. We haven't been on no real intimate level of talking like we trying to be in a relationship or nothing. And you know how it is. Like people always talk about Jody. Anybody ever heard Jody before? Jody or maybe Judy or Julie, whoever. All right, that exists. It's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? Like with that distance in the Navy, right? Whether you're a man or a woman, you always got the opposite sex, and they come in and they swooping. After a while, with my spouse, you got some guy. He's like, oh well, if your man really love you, he would be here with you. I mean, and come on, man. I mean that's like fighting somebody with a blindfold for one. Because I mean, yeah, you're gonna say whatever the hell you're gonna say. Oh, if your man really love you, he would have took you to Japan. Or oh, if your man really love you, he would have said, "Fuck Navy, I'm gonna be with you." But y'all don't know the whole picture, and then you could shape anything to however you want it to be. You know what I'm saying? So now you're dealing with that, and the more distance you got, the more powerful those words seem. Right? So we got that situation going on, and then me, where I am, I'm like, damn, like for the most part, we separated. But now there's temptations, there's other people around, there's other influences around, and then you start to get, like us, jaded on certain things. And then you start to say, you know what, screw that. I'm gonna just go ahead and do my thing. I had to start dealing with that type of shit, man. And then, lo and behold, years later, I'm in this situation where I'm thinking about family, I'm thinking about love, I'm thinking about life, and the distance that it has created, all because of this Navy life. So that's why I say it's the absolute worst thing about Navy life, the distance. Because from that small case of distance where I got orders to Okinawa, or the small, or you can even put it back to when I immersed myself in the work, just being a new guy. From that small instance, I've started on just a snowball effect of just a whole bunch of significant life events that really changed and shaped me for to be how I am now, man. All right. Last thing that I want to say about the distance, man. When it comes to relationships, personal relationships, or anything, bro, that distance, like that's the worst part of the Navy. Worst part of the Navy. Since I've been in the Navy, man, and I've missed so many times and moments with my friends, my family, my loved ones, and all that stuff. And I can deal with the people and their bullshit sometimes. I can deal with policy and whether or not it aligns with me or doesn't align with me. I can deal with the pay. The pay is not bad. I can deal with this. I can deal with that. But the distance, bro, that is the most challenging part about being in the Navy. You know what I mean? As I mentioned earlier, having that relationship with my partner, man, it hasn't always been the best, and it led me to where I am now. And it made me the person I am, to tell the truth. But it's because of that distance. If you can get past the worst part of the Navy, which is the distance, the Navy life is a successful life for you. You can get past the fact that you deal with the distance, bro. You'll be all right. Make sure you guys, if you coming in and you see my stuff, you're like, oh, I ain't gonna stay. Make sure that you drop a like, because you're gonna come back and you're gonna watch the rest of it. And if you don't, I'm telling you right now, right? Like I talked about this earlier, and I'm not playing. We was talking about HBK. I know how to do the sweet chin music. I've been watching wrestling for a long time. You know what I'm saying? And if I catch you slipping, I'm tuning up that band. It's not gonna be pretty, okay? But make sure that you like my damn bit. I'm not playing, bro. I'm not. I'm not. Until next time, guys. No further entries. This page. Tony Tone is out.